Hello, everybody. It's Tammy, and welcome back to my crafting corner of the universe here at Creative Girl Vintage. So I pulled out everything to make a vintage patriotic assemblage. And I decided that I was going to turn my camera on because I thought maybe you guys would just like to follow along on the process. Plus, I really wanted to say hello to all of you and wish you a happy summer too. If you want to stick around to the end, I have put together just like a little video tour of my patriotic collection, my vintage patriotic things I've collected over the years. I did a little vignette on my mantle, and I wanted to share that with you too. So I've got a giant mess here on my crafting table, and let's create a vintage patriotic assemblage. What we're going to be using for our assemblage today is this beat up, almost rusty, Secrets cough drop tin. I remember having these as a kid, and they were cherry flavored, you know, it was like getting candy. So I thought this was really a good little starting point for our project today. And making these little tin box assemblages, usually I would paint the box or cover it with fabric or paper or something. But today I'm really liking the way this looks authentically itself. It has a pretty blue stripe around it, and I think that it just needs to stay the way it is for today's project. The first thing I want to do is let's put a little lining in the steeper part right here. And this is a little book that I found at the flea market, Patriotic Songs of America. This is so cute. Well, I took this to my scanner and scanned these so I didn't damage my original book. And this is a piece of the sheet music that was in it. I printed it out, and I printed it out on this like fake coffee dye paper. And once again, always if I have anything I'm using here, these craft products, they'll always be linked below for you. So, you know, if you want to go check them out, you can. So I've put original coffee dyed paper in my printer, and most of the time it'll work, but a lot of the time I can get a super jammed up situation. So I try to avoid it. And this paper, of course, feeds in beautifully, and it is so much better than just a plain white, you know, computer paper. It actually just, you know, it just looks so much better. So what I'm going to do here is let's just trace around this, and we're going to cut it out. This will just be like our lining for that one side of the box. And a lot of times when you do this, you got to go back and make a couple of adjustments because it never wants to fit right the first time, right? So I'll just go around, see what we got here. Okay, let's see. Well, not too bad. I'd say we're almost there. Let's just take it down maybe a little bit on the side and a little bit on the bottom. Let's see where this takes us. Well, gotta love that. Okay, moving this out of the way. Got a big enough mess going here. I think we'll just use some Fabrifix. And let's grab this out of here. Put a little bit of the Fabrifix down here. Just always wants to jam up. I don't know. Have my pin handy. Okay, here we go. I can hear it. It's wanting to come out. Oh, glue, glue, glue. All right. Just a little bit down in there. The grapes of wrath are stored. Sheet music. Okay. All right. Now, let that dry over there. I've got a scrap of lace, which I'm going to lay here in the lid. We'll work on our lid. We can go ahead and get our glue out again for this side. Just to tack that lace down. Okay. I'll lay that right in there. So the next thing I'm going to put inside is one of these little flags. These are the little flags that, you know, they come in like a pack of 50 and you can stick them like in your hors d'oeuvres at a 4th of July party. You know, they're on a toothpick. So that's what we're going to use. The first thing I want to do for our little flag is I'm going to use my distress ink in my go-to in tea dye. And let's just make this look a little more aged, you guys. It's just really white. Let's just make this look nice and grungy and old to match that tin. Only have to do one side since it's going to be glued down. The next thing I'm going to do is take my pinking shears and let's cut a little piece of this off. It still looks a little awkward. I thought these flags just seemed a little long. So this little trim is really cute. I mean, it puts a little decoration on the flag. And also, see these little scraps? We need to save those because we're going to use those on the other side. Okay, so there's our flag. And you know what? I'm going to just do a little quick fix here with a bit of hot glue. And I'm going to lay our flag right in there. Okay. Moving along, let's use our favorite interlocking alphabet stamps. I know we use them a lot over here. Now, I spelled out Old Glory, and this one here is that I'm using today is the lowercase medium. Okay, now I do have the uppercase and lowercase in the small, and here is the small. So you can see there is really a big difference in the two of these. Okay, so I'm going to use the lowercase medium, and I don't have an uppercase medium, but what I did do was I eventually ordered a second set of the lowercase medium. So if I want to spell out like Mississippi or something, I mean, not that I need to spell out Mississippi, but you know what? If I do want to spell out Mississippi, I got the letters to do it now. So that was kind of one of my things. I needed a few more letters for those bigger words. Okay, I'm using the ultra washable ink. It's my go-to for everything. It just never smears, and I really appreciate that. Okay, Old. And here's Glory right next to it right there. And what I did here was do a little snip and a little tear, which that's really nice. It's like phrase it all out. I had one all done, all nice and frayed and kind of cut to size. So we're gonna take that one and lay it right there on our flag. And okay, I'm not going to use Fabrifix for that because I'm afraid it might come through the fabric. So I'm going to put 2 dots of hot glue on this, just like if it was 2 little buttons, and lay it right down. It's going to attach it down perfectly. Okay, now let's go to our other side. This is a little piece of scrap that I pulled off of, that I cut off of this side because it was a little too long. So I was going to layer that right in there on the sheet music. And look at this, you guys. I found this in my old photos. I've got a lot of great old photos. And this is like a little boy and he's wearing a sailor suit. Is he not adorable? I was disappointed there wasn't a date, but his name is Billy and he's 3 years old. Just love him. And I'm just going to lay him right there. This is a flea market find. I found a few of these. This is an old lapel pin. It says, I am an American. Thought that would look really pretty there. And then this is a vintage, one of those poppies that the veterans would sell. This is so special. And this is a special little home for it right here, which I would lay that right there. Okay, so let's attach everything down. And I'll show you what we're going to do with that little scrap from the flag. Okay, I'm just going to use a little bit of Fabrifix on this lace scrap and lay it down. And Billy, he's going to get a little dot of glue on the back. And I'm going to lay him right there. What I'm going to do here with my button, since I laid this lace down, I'm going to take the pin on this and I'm going to put it through this lace. Okay, it's not completely dry yet, but that's good. I can kind of lift it up to get that pin in there. This way it will be in here and secure, hopefully. Let me see. It's not wanting to, there we go. There. Okay, everybody, lay back down. All right, I just messed everything up, but that's okay. The glue's not dry yet. I can put it all back down. This way, the pin will lay in here, and it's actually just pinned onto that lace, and I didn't have to use a glue on that in case I ever want to take it out and save it. This here, I'm going to put in with a little bit of hot glue. That's gonna hold that down right on that little stem, right inside. So sweetly. Okay. Now, remember we saved our little scraps here. Well, I was cutting some flags, and I don't really know how this happened, but this little scrap right here, it is, honestly, it's so tiny. It looks like a teeny tiny bunting, and I was just in love with it, and I was like, that needs to go right on top of that picture. I have another one too. This one's a little bit heavier, which could go like right there even. Probably my only thing is getting glue on this, because it is very, very tiny. But I think I'm just going to go with a little Mod Podge and just lightly dot it on there. Very carefully lay them right there, and that should be enough glue on there to hold that right in place. It's looking sweet, isn't it? Okay, so for a finishing touch, have these itsy bitsy little wooden stars, and I painted them champagne gold, and then I sprinkled them, and then I let them dry, added some Mod Podge to the top, and just sprinkled them with silver glitter. And when you're trying to do something with something so tiny, I did grab my straight pin, my little trusty straight pin here, and held these down, and made it so much easier to be able to paint them. So now I have all of these little tiny stars. I know Fabrifix is for fabric, but that's okay. We're going to use it on these little tiny stars and stick it to the fabric. And these little glitter stars. Wow, they're so sweet. I loved this one. This little teeny tiny one. That will run right there. Here. Isn't that pretty, the way that starts sparkling? It adds just a nice little touch of sparkle. How about right here? I think I did like 6 of them. Okay. And probably the last thing that I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to do or not. This is going to stand up, by the way, you know, like this. It stands up on its own. And I had this little bit of tinsel garland in red, and, you know, I think I'm going to go for it because it looks really pretty by this blue stripe. Wasn't sure. Let me just run a strip right up the side. I don't want to put any on the bottom because it will interfere with its standing. And then a little bit right here. Let's snip it off. Okay, there we go. And then, let me see. What do you guys think? Maybe a little bit on this side too? I don't know, I kind of like it plain. But yeah, I think I like it plain. I think that looks really good. So what do you guys think? Isn't that a cute little assemblage out of just a rusty old metal tin? You know, you can just do so much with these little tins. You know, the sky's the limit on what you can put inside. So I also want to show you in my Etsy shop, I have just added, this is the velvet trim that I usually have in there in pinks and blues. Well, I have the 2 yards of red, 2 yards of white, 2 yards of blue, and in the bottom here I've thrown in a bunch of those little bitty stars that I used in this project here. And this is some of that I tied together in a bow using all 3 pieces, and it's just so pretty, and you can just add it to all your summer projects. So you guys, if you take a moment just to hit the thumbs up button and like this video, I would really appreciate it. And hey, stick around. I'm getting ready to show you my little vintage patriotic vignette that I've put together on my mantle. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I always appreciate it, and I love our crafting time together. And I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you soon.